Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah.
Morning.
Well, I'm Kriss Baird, General Manager of Project Catalyst. We are here on the first day of Rare Evo 2025 at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. I am very honored to have two of our most recent Project Catalyst funded projects joining us today, our prolific Cardano accelerators from two of the world's leading venture building firms and accelerators and investors. And I'd really like to introduce Chris and Audra. And guys, why don't we get started with a quick round of, introductions. Chris, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I wish I could bring you around and give me that intro everywhere I go. So I'm Chris Joannou. I head up ecosystem growth for Draper University. It's a founder residency and accelerator in Silicon Valley, founded by Tim Draper, famous billionaire venture capitalist, been in the space for a long time. And just wrapped up our program. Super excited about the results and continuing to work with you guys and Cardano. So that's why we're here. Yeah.
Awesome. Good morning. Audra Gibson. I'm a program lead with Techstars. Techstars is creeping up on 5,000 investments. We are a global accelerator and run a ton of other programs to help early stage investors. We're the world's most active early stage investor. 20 plus unicorns in our stable. So very proud of that and coming alongside entrepreneurs and really excited about this pre-accelerator we're going to run alongside Project Catalyst.
Yeah, fantastic. And we've been so thrilled to have you guys join the ranks of Project Catalyst alumni. And maybe we can start there. Obviously, you guys have, as I said, recently been funded. Chris, with Draper University, you've recently completed the first round of Catalyst-funded programs for Draper University. Maybe you could start with what drew you to apply into Project Catalyst in the first place?
Oh, just seeing my colleague out there distracting. For us, Cardano, the brand, the community, the technical talent and depth, and then I'd say our ability or our belief that we could help add some value, particularly in the kind of the entrepreneurial territory. Yeah, so seemed like the perfect way to go, and I think it took us 2 rounds to get you guys to believe in us, but here we are.
Yeah, it's quite an amazing thing, really. I've said this quite a bit. Governance is humbling when it's done by a distributed community, right? Mm-hmm. And so you submitted a proposal a couple of funding rounds ago. That one didn't pass first time round. You took stock of the feedback, I guess, came back for a second attempt, and then it got over the line.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like, I come from a community building background somewhat from my startup grind days. So it's like, I think the community likes to see you come back, that you got to, that you're going to, give up after the first shot. Yeah, you do take the feedback, you try and improve the proposal and just say, like, we're here to stay. This is not a bullshit. Kind of like, we want to back Cardano. I don't know if I can swear, but I do swear.
It's all right. I'm sure it's fine. It's Friday morning.
It's too late now. It's live.
And isn't that very much in the sentiment of entrepreneurship in general?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Entrepreneurs don't typically show up and just get it done for shot. You have to be flexible and
persistence,
be able to pivot and resilience. And so we're just echoing what we're encouraging the entrepreneurs to do as well.
Yeah, if you believe in it, you're going to just keep going at it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think the same thing was to be said for Techstars. You had applied first time a couple of funding rounds ago after we'd met colleagues of yours in Barcelona at the start of last year, and it took a second attempt in order to get that over the line.
Yes.
And now you're just about to kick off your program.
Yeah, absolutely. So shout out to Piotr if he's out there listening, my colleague in Spain, and yes, He's very passionate about getting things over the line with Project Catalyst and really believed in the possibilities for this project. And so, we are about to kick off in October. We're on October through December, and we have applications open now for early stage founders who are building on Cardano or Cardano adjacent, chain agnostic, and those will be open till August the 16th. And then we have the really exciting process of being able to go through those applications, see what people are building. I know you guys just went through that process. And so it was really exciting to see kind of what's coming down the pipeline, what people are excited to be building, and be able to select some of those founders to come be in the program.
Yeah, awesome. Maybe we can linger on that idea a little bit around the selection process. So, Chris, for Draper University and the program that you've just gone through, tell us a little bit about how did you make the selections of the startups that you decided to work with?
Yeah, it's a combination of things. I think you saw Arissa put that slide up, and there was quite a few. I mean, I guess the couple of key ones is just kind of related to the stage for us. Where Draper University Ventures is a pre-seed fund, so like if they're too far along, then it just don't kind of make sense to us. Two is like the commitment to Cardano. It actually was number one on our list. We've working with other protocols and stuff like that. We just know like it's a big no-no, and there's a lot of projects that kind of, is it grift or drift? I don't know the word. But so we're kind of conscious of like, hey, if we're going to deliver some real value for Cardano, there needs to be some commitment to Cardano along the way. And then I guess also for us, the third bit would be like expansion of the ecosystem, right? And this is where we did get a bit of pushback from the community around like, hey, bringing in new builders, God forbid, right? Like, but in our belief is that in order to expand the Cardano ecosystem, you have to bring new builders in. You have to get new entrepreneurs on board, whether they come in from Web 2, whether they come in from other protocols. Otherwise, you're just kind of consistently like feeding people that you're probably very familiar with because they kind of keep coming back for grants and stuff. So those three things.
Yeah. I think there was a little bit of education to be done at the time of that selection process, where it seemed very clear to the Catalyst team at the very least that the process was open to those that were building in Cardano today, but were also thinking about porting across to Cardano as an ecosystem from somewhere else. And yeah, you're right. There was maybe a little bit of pushback initially, but once the community understood, the specifics of where those firms were and what they were intending on doing, everything seemed to lighten the load a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, we won everyone over in the end, I think. It's good.
And what about yourselves, Audra, with Techstars? How do you treat selection criteria?
Yeah, so I would echo definitely some things that Chris just shared. We're certainly looking at the program and the stage that the entrepreneurs are in, and making sure that this specific program is a good one for them and is going to be helpful to them. And then past that, we're really looking first and foremost at these teams. Do they have the background? Do they have the experience? Do they have the passion? Why are they going after solving the problem that they're trying to solve or the gap that they're trying to fill? Are they resilient? Are they hungry? Are they humble? Are they teachable? Can they pivot? And so we're looking at a lot of team. That's a really key component for us. And then we're looking at the idea, how far along they might be in their process with that. Do they have something built? Do they have a prototype? Do they have a beta out in the market maybe that they're getting feedback on if they talk to their customers, their potential customers? And then we're looking at business viability. Is the market large enough to support what they're trying to build? Is there a real business application to be had there? And timing of that, is it the right time? Charles was talking this morning a little bit about building too early for the market. The market wasn't quite ready, and so timing really comes into play from time to time. And then finally, traction. Are there any key signals out there in the world where the world is reflecting back? Yes, we see the problem that you see. We're experiencing it in a painful way. We need a solution, and we think the thing that you're building is going to help, right? So, have they had advisors sign on board? Do they have any sales? Have they done customer discovery, validation? Do they have followers, a wait list? Anything out there in the world that reflects like the progress that they've made is being mirrored back, and the community of the world is saying, yes, please keep building this. This is something we're excited about having come to market.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting dilemma, right? When you're thinking about traction, I think most people think that traction equates to how many users you've got or how many in blockchain, how many transactions you process or whatnot. But obviously the stage of the businesses that you guys are interested in working with often they don't have projects that are even, deployed to mainnet. So it's important to be able to consider the holistic picture, I guess, right?
Yes, there's so many things that can indicate traction, and what you mentioned is absolutely true. In the startup world, a lot of times people just think, well, traction equals sales, and so if I don't have any sales, I'm pre-traction, and that's not really the case. So really, yeah, there's so many things that can reflect. You've built a prototype, you've published your white paper, you've done some speaking events, maybe you've won a pitch event. All of these things can be traction. And so, really thinking about, as a founder, what are we doing to make progress on this project of ours that we're passionate about, and how is the world receiving that?
And I guess this is maybe comes across as a bit of a loaded question. So
We like this.
But the Catalyst process is really heavily focused on an accountability model where we provide milestone-based funding for project teams to go and deliver against a milestone. They receive funding to go and reach that milestone. They have to come back and deliver proof of achievement, show to the community that they have completed what they committed to, and build a picture formatively of their delivery. How much does that sort of help with the process of deciding whether or not these teams have traction, are able to deliver? Does all that help to build a bit of a picture for you?
Yeah, I mean, you got a really great idea about how you're going to deliver this program before you start, right? For us, the benefit of Catalyst was, well, I'm not answering your question, but I'll kind of come back to it. It is like we loved personally. It is like a bit of a pain in the ass to make sure that you have all this stuff that you're delivering in timely manner. But actually, for us, we kind of enjoyed that we had to level up, I reckon, a little bit to just kind of deliver the way we needed to deliver and ensure that hey, there wasn't a question of whether we were going to video it, not video it, whatever. Like some of these things that may have been optional. We kind of love that there was this this level of program that we had to deliver, and there was nothing kind of I don't know the word I'm trying to look for. There was nothing that we were like I said, it leveled us up a bit, and in fact, we went back to our ops team because we're continually trying to improve our programs, and we took quite a bit of that and said we wanted to implement it in our own programs. We changed our service level agreement based on this standard that you had to provide for Cardano.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So we thought it was a pain in the ass, but then we knew there was a way to kind of level it up.
See the benefit.
Yeah.
I always think that it makes the project a stronger project if you are able to be more specific, and then you're held accountable to those commitments. How about yourself, Audra? Have you found the process so far?
Yeah, I think accountability is a really big one for us, right? And this really reflects in the venture world what venture capital should be doing, right? We have a fiduciary responsibility to the folks and the funds that we've raised to be able to select founders and startup companies that we really believe in, that we really feel like can get to that next level, right? So not only is there a responsibility to those investors, it reflects back, but when you think about Web3 and the blockchain industry, we've had a really big challenge in this industry where there's been a lot of rug pulls and scams and people who the community has trusted and they haven't lived up to that trust. And so I think, as you mentioned, sort of reaching that next level of saying, we're going to go overboard with our accountability and make sure that the community understands that we are doing exactly what we came to do and what we've promised to the community, and we're really here to support these entrepreneurs and these companies and getting them out into the world. And so, Project Catalyst has just put a really excellent, high standard level accountability process in place, and so we're happy to be walking through that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate your vote of confidence, guys. I want to maybe kind of dial back to some of the basics. I think a lot of people come in, certainly what we've seen in this community anyway, some misconceptions around what an accelerator program is really there for. I think people think that it's just about writing checks and getting investment, but all of us here know it's so much more than that. Chris, why don't you tell us a little bit about how the Draper University program worked, what sort of residual or additional benefits projects and teams that you've supported get, and then we'll come to Audra with the same sort
It's
of
a big
idea.
question, mate. I'd say it's essentially progressive programming. Like, we're trying to understand, what you guys need and what we're looking for from a venture capital perspective. So I did thank you for covering all those bits I missed. We are, and then giving them kind of the entrepreneurial fundamentals along with, the crypto stuff, tokenomics, all that kind of stuff. But I'd say 9 times out of 10, it's more important that they know how to do the sales, the growth hacking, the kind of dealing with venture capitalists, understanding they're solving the problem that the market wants. It's like typical, like literally lean startup kind of stuff, right? And a lot of them don't have that, right? And they think they have that, but they've been building for this narrow, kind of niche Cardano community for some time. They're in kind of an echo chamber with their developer mates, all this kind of stuff, right? That say this is great and this is needed, and then sometimes it's moving away from infrastructure and stuff that maybe the development side of Cardano may need. So we're trying to give them understand the baseline and what success looks like for each of these founders, and then deliver the programming in a kind of progressive manner along so many number of weeks. We bring them, in our case, to Silicon Valley. They live with us. Adds kind of another level of competition, I would say, another level of it gives them the ability to kind of really network. In our circumstance, a lot of founders that had known each other from the ecosystem are finally together in one room, and they formed a bunch of partnerships and stuff that we didn't see come in as well, that they were constantly talking about. So that was really great. Kind of culminates in a demo day, where they're pitching Silicon Valley VCs. The added value is that we've got a lot of our own VCs there, and then we kind of have funds around the world, and hopefully along that journey they've got more pitch ready, commercial ready, and they're looking pretty sharp at the end, and hopefully some of them get a check. Yeah, and we're kind of proud to say that we're in the final stage of negotiations with 2, and then I think there'd be another 3 or 4. So out of that we will look at. I think I said to you before, we had Andy Tang and Draper Dragon Fund and Draper University Ventures, they got their scorecard on demo day, and 4 companies over here, and Tim Draper a different kind of 4. And so hopefully we get a bunch of people some cash, and then they're on their journey, and then maybe sliding into a Techstars program or something. Who knows? Yeah.
Well, Audra, what else can you add to that in terms of what does the acceleration really mean, and what does the program offer?
Sure. Yeah. One of the things that I think is really cool about this process is that all of these different entities that are being funded through Project Catalyst are creating these programs to help support entrepreneurs, but we're doing it in slightly different ways. And sometimes entrepreneurs have different circumstances, right? So I think it's so cool that you're bringing founders to San Mateo, and you've got them there at Draper University in person, and Techstars has decided to run a global program, and so we're doing completely virtual, because we know there are probably some entrepreneurs in the world that they can't travel, they can't leave sort of their circumstances for an extended period of time, and so our program is sort of leaning into the accessibility realm with global, but I think it's so cool that we have sort of this balanced approach in the midst of that. I would echo, we're giving them the fundamentals of startup basics, right? Now, this is a pre-accelerator, so these companies are past idea stage typically, but they're not quite investment ready. And so we're giving them those startup fundamentals, customer discovery, validation, go-to-market, sales, introduction to venture capital, all of these things, hopefully trying to help them prevent them from making some errors that startups typically kind of walk into. And then mentorship, I know, is a huge thing for Draper. It's absolutely a huge thing for Techstars as well. We've got an incredible network of mentors, and those are folks that are covering all kinds of different subject matter expertise from a generalist standpoint, and then for this specific program also crypto native experts that are coming into play. And so these founders will have access to all of these mentors in our mentor pool, as well as the master classes that we run. You mentioned pitching. pitching and storytelling and narrative is so important for a founder, and especially folks that are maybe natively engineers, a little bit more technology based, right? And so you could have the most amazing product in the world, but if you can't let people know how it's going to help them, then that really can be a challenge for people seeing success. And so we're helping them with their pitch, their mentorship, connections, foundational things. We also are very excited that we've got some cool perks that the founders are going to get once they get into program from some of our global sponsors. And then we've got some really cool master classes coming up, not only from Techstars managing directors. We just recently confirmed that we're going to have Hester Pierce, SEC commissioner, come and do a fireside chat with us. And so access like that to folks that really have insight into the market, we're getting the founders exposed to that and getting them, hopefully, when you say acceleration, they potentially could make these connections and get these mentors and find them. But it might take them 3 years in what we can do in 10 weeks. And so we're really excited to be able to offer this opportunity to them and come alongside them. And as you said, hopefully get a number of these companies to the point where they are investment ready and can go on to another accelerators. Definitely we'll be looking at Techstars accelerators. But really, we just want these founders to see success out there in the world.
Yeah, I think, you mentioned obviously the network effect. Maybe we could talk about that a little bit. So obviously we've talked about Draper University, Draper Dragons, Techstars has a phenomenal global network as well. Can we talk, let's say a few words about the benefits of these networks that these startups get to tap into? Audra, maybe you can start.
Sure. A lot of times people, when they're originally applying for Techstars Accelerator, they're really thinking that the check is the most important thing. A lot of people come in with that early mindset that, if I could just get this funding, then we could get XYZ built and we could do this marketing and we could hire this person. And what we find time and time and time again is that the two things when they exit the accelerator that they hold up as the highest level of value for them are the mentorship and the network. And that really is having folks come alongside them who've walked through these processes, who've seen success in business, who've had exits, and then also being able to work side by side with their peers. Entrepreneurship can be incredibly isolating. And so when you're kind of working in this bubble and you feel this frustration and you don't have people to bounce ideas off of or bring challenges to, that can be really difficult. You're making an already difficult process even more difficult. And so if we can tap into that Techstars network, over 3,000 mentors, incredible speakers, a lot of our folks that come back and pour into our mentors are companies that we've helped accelerate and have been able to come alongside previously as well. Techstars is, really proud to have companies like Chain Analysis and Arweave and TradingView and even folks like ClassPass, have come through our programs, DFNS, who, a lot of times their founders say, wow, we got so much from this program and this community and this network. And so when we reach XYZ level, we want to come back and pour in as well. And so that's something that we've seen be really exciting, that founders have seen support come alongside them, and then they want to pour back in to the community.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And Chris, have you got any other views on the network effect and your perspective from Draper?
Yeah, maybe I'll use take something from what Arissa said yesterday, right? It was also that we had VCs talking about, wow, all these Cardano founders in Silicon Valley. It was a bit. So I think you've also got the benefit going the other way, where we're like brand awareness and kind of getting founders in front of a bunch of different VCs and stuff, and answering that question of why Cardano and everywhere they go. And so,
As I understood it, it was one of the first times that Cardano had a permanent presence or a semi-permanent presence in the Silicon Valley for a time, right?
Yeah, that was like the thing. They were like, wow, there's all these Cardano builders, right? Yeah.
Did you find that there was a difference to the sort of caliber of founders or anything that maybe it could be used as some sort of inspiration for people that are maybe watching, that are thinking about applying into a program? Like what are you sort of seeing through the lens of Web3 programs versus maybe more traditional programs that you run?
Yeah, I think don't get stuck in the bubble, right? Like just make sure you're talking to the market and maybe even talking to some of these startups that are coming through these cohorts and just see what their experience is like and what the value was, and ensuring that this is not something that's kind of niche for Cardano, but it's got like, at least if you're coming to us, right? Well, it's like an venture kind of scale, kind of built in, we're there to look for, billion, multi-billion dollar companies. So if you're not, so maybe thinking big enough, thinking out of your bubble, making sure you're solving a real world problem. That doesn't mean you're kind of betraying Cardano, right? It could mean that you're bringing Web2 users on board or something like that. But this is the way you grow the ecosystem as well, right? So think bigger. What else did I say? Think bigger. Make sure you're solving a real world problem. Have your pitch kind of crafted, and give it a try. Yeah.
Audra, any thoughts around how we can inspire and maybe motivate some applications into the Techstars program?
Yeah. I think what happens a lot of times is really true, is that people that are technically minded, engineers, builders, they just get so excited about the building process, right? And what they're going to build and create. And so a lot of times they just leap headfirst into that. And I think what you said about solving a real world problem or meeting a gap in the world, something that's missing in the world, is really important. And to be able to do that, you have to do that for someone, right? And so customer discovery, I think, is such a huge thing. Making sure that you're talking to your potential customers. Are you seeing this problem that we're seeing? Will this product that we're building solve your problem? Founders being able to answer the question, we are solving X problem for Y customer in Z way, is a really important thing for founders to be able to narrate. And a lot of times they fall short there. And so really thinking about, who am I building this for, right? Why am I excited about this? Can they relate to this pain point? Are they experiencing it? Is this something that they're excited about engaging with, if it's a service, or buying if it's a product? And so I think being able to answer those questions is really important. And then I think also just be brave, right? I think a lot of times people, they self-exclude. They look at something, a program or an opportunity or a place or a chain, whatever it is, and they go, oh, I don't fit perfectly into that little box. Well, you don't need to, right? I think one of the things that we experience as a blockchain community is the community as a whole is really welcoming, and we all want to see blockchain and Web3 succeed. And so, if you've got an idea, if you're working on something, if you're not quite sure if it's a fit, engage anyway, reach out anyway, apply anyway, right? And hopefully, maybe you get into a program, maybe you're just learning some things along the way. And so, I just be brave, go for it.
There's always a hesitancy for first-time founders about sharing their ideas.
Yes.
Often because maybe they aren't quite confident on being able to pitch, or maybe they feel that someone else is going to steal their idea. I think, one of the pieces of advice that I've always given is that if someone's got the time and resources to come and take your idea and pivot what they're doing entirely, it's going to be pretty infrequent and unusual for that to happen.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's always a possibility, right? There's always a possibility that things could go awry and bad things could happen in the world and people could be nefarious. But I would echo that. What we typically say is you could hold it tightly and never share it with anybody. But if you do that, there's a lesser chance that it's going to get out into the world and you're going to have people come alongside you and help you with it and be able to pour into it. And you're right. And it's not only somebody needing the time and the motivation to steal an idea, but they'd also have to have the expertise and the passion and the team, right? So, an idea is one thing, but the team is really what executes on that idea and brings it to life. And so if you feel like you're that team, get it out there into the world.
What a great way to I think, end this podcast session. I want to thank Audra from Techstars. It's wonderful to have you guys as alumni for Catalyst. Likewise, Chris from Draper University. We all hope that we're going to be working and collaborating, for a long time to come yet. And thank you very much for your time today, guys.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
you.